What's up, all stars? Good morning. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. We are back with day 3 of the business boot camp, Freedom for Families boot camp, whatever you want to call it. My job is just to show up for you and show you a few things that I've learned along the journey of building businesses for the last 9 years, leveraging this incredible platform right here called Facebook. So if we've never met, my name is Jennifer Abbs. I've been building businesses online for 9 years using organic strategies only. And this year I finally decided to get smarter and do it better and add funnels into my business. And man, it's been a blessing. We had a phenomenal month last month, but not everyone's ready to start at a funnel. Not everyone's ready to start at paid ads. When I got started, I had 150 friends. They were family. I didn't accept friend requests from strangers, right? Stranger danger. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any fluence. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to talk to strangers. I didn't know how to do the business, but I implemented everything that I've taught you guys over the day 1 and day 2. So if you're watching this now and you're like, what is she talking about? Over the last 3 days, I've been teaching you guys, sharing some strategies that have worked for myself on how to build a successful business using Facebook strategies, using simple communication styles, building friends, creating freedom for your family, all while doing it around, I'm in a hotel room right now. Like, I do this around my family. I do this around my life. I was a retail store manager for 25 years. I didn't have time. If I wanted to go on vacation, I didn't have the money. I was stuck. I was stuck in that cycle. I was stuck in Groundhog's Day in that rut. And I just wanted to learn how to make $500 a month. And I did. And that was 9 years ago, and I haven't had a job since. Now, a lot of people are selling information because that's where the world is, right? They recognize that free has no value. So some of you will watch and do something with this video, but I showed up for free and most won't. But what I'm also doing is leading with value first, because of course I always have something to share. I always have something to invite people to do. I always have something to invite people to experience for themselves, because what I do is I take people on the journey with me. But I'm probably over $200,000 in my own personal coaching. So am I going to give that all away for free? No, because you won't value it. And that's just the truth. One of the reasons why people quit this business so early on is because it was free to get started, right? That's what everyone's looking for. Like, what's free that I could do? They didn't value the money, or they don't value their time. And you have to really invest in both if you want to take this business to the top. So today we're going to talk about planning with a purpose. And again, when I got started, I had no idea what I was doing, but the team did. The company had a plan, and I had a purpose. My purpose was to get out of debt. My purpose was $10,000 a month to get me out of the debt. I had just dug myself into a gigantic 6-figure financial hole. And if I would have went back to work, I was going to be in that hole for the rest of my life. I didn't see a way out. So I wasn't like, that way didn't work. I did it for 25 years. I stayed in debt. That's the definition of insanity. It didn't work. I dug myself into such a financial hole that I had to find a way to do it. And so I joined a team. I joined an opportunity, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but they did. They had a plan. They had a system. They were working or making 10 to 30,000 a month. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I had a purpose. I had a mission, right? People will follow the mission. I also had a story, and every one of you watching this right now, you have a story. If you're a mom with kid at home in diapers trying to make $500 a month, you have a story. If you are working 10 hours a day with a pager hooked to your belt and pulled away from your kids all the time, you have a story. If you're working graveyards and your environment is extremely negative, you have a story. And when you realize that other people are in that same story, but they don't see a way out, they haven't met someone yet that's dug their way out of the hole. No one in their family is financially wealthy, or maybe a distant uncle, and they're not sure how to connect the dots. Your voice and your story is an inspiration to that person. It's not going to land with everybody, just like I don't land with everybody. I'm okay with that. Not everyone lands with me. But your purpose is what people will follow. It's what makes people buy, right? They buy you. We talked about that yesterday in the training. So Planning with a purpose. Well, what does that look like? Well, whatever you're doing, someone has already done it in front of you, before you, behind you. I don't care if you're opening a CBD store or you're buying a brick and mortar McDonald's or you're joining an opportunity. Someone has already done it and taking it to the top. Someone's taking it to the middle. Someone's taking it to a few $100. Someone is taking it to where you want to go. And you're looking around like, great, everyone's doing this thing. What do I do to get started? Well, you plan your days first and foremost. When we don't have a job, we have all this time freedom. We have the illusion that we're free, but we're not free because we're broke. So you don't have freedom yet. You have freedom when you can do whatever you want, buy whatever you want, go wherever you want. Like, there's wealth, there's rich, right? If you have a lot of time freedom, but you don't have any money, you're not free yet, assuming you want money. Some people just don't want money. That's okay. I love money because I love to buy shit for people. So what does planning with a purpose means? Well, for the first thing you need to do is you need to decide what day you're clocking in and out. Because if you don't clock in and out, you're firing yourself, and your upline can't help you, and your mentor can't help you, and your coach can't help you because you didn't show up to the game. You didn't show up to practice. So if your mentor can't see you practice, they can't coach you on where you are and what you're doing, right? You got to come up and you got to practice. You got to get into the game. So you have to decide your time management. That's number one, time management. What day am I going to work my business, and what time am I going to work my business? If you work it when you feel like it, I'm going to tell you right now, 25 years, I never missed a day. I never missed it. I missed one day of work, technically 3. I was in a car accident. I flipped and totaled my car. I ran into the side of a mountain. The tow truck driver drove me to my mom, who drove me to my store. My store manager was the first phone call I made when my car was upside down, and the lady pulled off the side of the road and said, "Oh my God, my dear, are you okay? I'm 24 years old. Are you okay? Is there anyone I can call?" And I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I need you to call my store manager. I'm going to be late to work." That was the only thing I cared about, was disappointing my store manager, because I had pride in what I was doing and I wanted his job, right? My mom didn't need to know I was in an accident. I was fine. There was no reason to worry her. What was the point of that? But my store manager, if I didn't show up to work, I never missed a day. And then he said, "Are you crazy? Go to the hospital. You could have internal bleeding." And I was home for 3 days and I went back to work. I never missed a day. I'm going to tell you what, when that alarm clock went off, because it was 3, 4 in the morning, a lot, I didn't want to get up. I didn't feel like getting up. Some days I was sick. Some days I was hungover. Some days I just didn't want to go to work. But if I didn't go to work, I didn't get a paycheck. Now, some of you joined a business for $50 and you're like, yeah, I know, because you just spent $400 at Target, because that felt good. $50 on a business that you're unsure about, that doesn't feel good, right? Our brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And some of you guys think you're so free. Some of us, myself included, I am absolutely, when I talk to you, I'm talking to myself, just so you guys know. So you have to decide for yourself when you're clocking in and when you're clocking out. And if you don't know what to do, then you need to call someone and say, "What should I be doing right now?" Because if you're by yourself trying to figure it out on your computer, because now we build on social media, so I'm all alone. No, you're not. You didn't call and ask for help. You're not alone. You're choosing to be all alone, but you're not all alone. Hundreds of thousands of people are building this business, and other industries and other incredible freaking companies. You're not alone. You're choosing to be a victim and stay in the same spot. I say that with love. Today I might get a little bit in it, right? Because I do it too. I'm like, same fucking rank, 6 months, Jen. What are you doing? Well, you're not working, right? So I totally get it. I say it with love. Plan with purpose. What day are you working your business? And then when you plan your day, what are you working on? What are you doing? And I'll tell you what you should be doing. You should be having conversations. The winner of this game is he who has the most conversations wins. And it's not conversations about your kids, and it's not conversations about the weather, and it's not gossip. It's not about who's doing what and what's not working, and I'm doing this and it's not working. I need a business card. That's not the conversation. The conversation is, "Hey, quick question. I found something. It's allowing me to retire my husband. It's allowing me to homeschool my kids next year. We're about to travel in the next few months. Do you have 15 minutes? Yes or no?" Click. "Hey, what's going on?" Da, 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 right? That is what we do. Now, you can put a funnel in front of it and not have to do that. But in the short term, you do have to do that, because it's like you can't win a championship right? Like Michael Jordan can walk onto that court and probably make every free throw in the world or every 3-pointer, whatever he's good at, right? He's just going to make him. He's going to make him. He's going to make him. He's going to make him. Right? That's kind of where you are in your business. That's where I am in my business. I get on a call and I can invite someone to see a thing, right? No problem. I've been here for 9 years. I should be good at that. That's my free throw. But I got good at it because I sucked in the beginning and I was willing to look stupid. I was willing to take the hits. I was willing to hear the no's. I was willing to get rejected. I was willing to lose every dime. I was willing to lose my husband, like full disclosure, right? That happened. I was willing to lose it all to risk an idea for my children's children. This is not about me and it ain't even about my children. It's about my children's children. I hope they don't have any, but in case they do, that's how far out I'm thinking. So I'm not living in instant gratification. I'm not buying my kids everything that they ask for. I'm not buying the most expensive car. I don't live in a big ass mansion. Why? Because that's not where wealth is. That is trying to keep up with the Joneses, and that's not where wealth is. A lot of people say that they can't afford a business, and I just found out that brand new truck. I didn't even know that car payments existed that were $1,500. Did you guys know that there's car payments as expensive as $1,500? Who the would pay that? I don't know. Mine was $540, and it felt like torture every time I made that. Thank God I paid that thing off early. But these people are out here driving these expensive cars to impress people that they don't like. It's crazy. And then you know what they're going to do? Their kids are going to do the same freaking thing because why? Their kids saw it happen. I'm not here for that. I'm at a very different place in my life. I don't really care what people think about me because I'll be dead when my kids are spending the money. So it will be fine. So you have to have a plan and you have to have a big why, like a big need. So let me ask you this, and you don't have to type it in the chat, right? What haven't you gotten at this point in your life? What don't you have at this stage? Now, some of you might be 20, 30 years old and the world is your oyster. I know, it was mine too. But I still wanted to buy a house, right? I didn't buy my first house till I was 35 years old. I still wanted to drive a brand new car. That took a little bit longer too. So your need doesn't have to be the whole kids is kids. And oh my God, Jen, that's a lot of pressure. Like, trust me, when I was 25 years old, I was living for the next vacation. All of my money was spent on Mexico and tequila. I made bonuses and I spent it all in Mexico. That was a need that fulfilled my sense of adventure. I'm a sense of adventure person. So that's my need. I like money to feel my need, right? So what do you need money for that you can't do that will allow happiness, that will allow joy, that will allow peace? It's vacationing for me. I have been a vacationer since I moved out at 17 years old and I just moved from state to state to state to state to state. That's what fuels me. New adventure, excitement. Like that's why I don't do cubicles, right? So I digress. Plan with purpose, plan your time. Now, what are you doing? You're inviting people to see a thing for the rest of your life. You're inviting people to see a thing. If you owned an Applebee's and you're sitting next to the plane, you're not weird about it. The guy's like, hey, what do you do? Oh, I own an Applebee's. Oh, okay, cool. You're not weird about it. It's natural. But so many of us are like, how do I answer the question of what do I do? I can't talk about my business because I don't know how to answer the question, what do I do? Yes, you can. What do I do? Oh, I'm an ambassador for a lifestyle company. Oh, cool. What's that? Oh, you got 15 minutes? I'd love to show you. You open up your laptop and you show him. You open up your phone and you show him. You don't present to him. You show him. One of the things we're doing in our group, we got 2 women that got started and they're both launching together inside of a group because we build on social media because the world is watching on social media. We don't have to leave our environments anymore, right? We can travel the world and do whatever we want. We don't have to leave. So they're building a business inside of a group. And what we're going to do on Friday is we are going to demonstrate the membership to people. It's a $50 membership that saves you money on fun. Who is having fun this summer? Everybody, I hope. Some people just want to pay full price because they're so arrogant and so egotistical. Well, I don't like a discount. Well, I fucking love a discount because if I can get 50% off and go twice, sign me up. Right? Sign me up. My sister-in-law, 50% off Knott's Berry Farm. She can go twice. Sign me up. Right? We get to do all kinds of stuff like that with the membership, but people are visual learners. That's why every time I go to Vegas, I open up my back office, I see the incredible deals in Vegas, and I share them on my video. People are visual. They want to, and people want to know they're getting a better deal. You don't want to open Priceline and Trivago and Expedia and 47 other sites to get the best price. You want to know you're getting the best price. So what are we doing? We're demonstrating it inside of a group to build a customer base. It's what the world is doing right now. It's social media. It's social influence, right? So let's talk about sales right now, because that's really what I want to talk about today is sales. We need to make peace with the word. All of us. I've been sold. I have regrets. I have buyer's remorse. I have had to go through forgiving myself for spending a lot of money on stuff I didn't need, right? A lot of classes I didn't need, a lot of courses I didn't need, a lot of coaches I didn't need. But when I look back and when I look at where I'm at in my life today, and the money spent, that kind of hurts, right? But if the money spent earns me $1 million in the next 3 years, I'm okay with that, with spending that money. It's a journey that you have to go on, and we don't like to be told what to do. We want to feel the pain ourselves. We are just so silly creatures like that we don't learn unless we experience it. So you have to pay for the coaching. You have to pay for the business. You have to fail. You have to lose the money. You have to go through the divorce. You have to go through the bankruptcy. Now, I hope you don't have to go through anything I've ever done, but some people won't listen to me and they'll go do it to prove themselves right. And I'll end up being right because they'll end up filing bankruptcy, and I can say, I told you so, or I can say, now will you listen to me? Right? So you really want to follow leaders who have been in the fucking trenches and got their way out. And that's what people like to see on social media. They want to see the real, and they're over the Lamborghinis. They're over the big mansions. They're over the, like, that. Not that that doesn't inspire, but we have to remind people where we came from. And a lot of us come from an experience in our past of what we think this industry is, right? All of us, myself included. I've got a lot of 9 years of suitcases that I continually pick up every once in a while. And then I have to remember, oh no, it's safe over here. I can let this go. I can trust my team over here. I can put this stress down. I don't have to worry about this. I'm in a safe environment. Right? I have the confidence to ask questions. It's okay to ask these questions. You don't want, if you're working with someone who won't allow you to ask questions, that's a first sign you need to get a new mentor. Now, if they've explained it 27 times and they're getting a little agitated, I'm the first one to do that. So just have a little grace with us, right? But what I'm trying to say is there is a story around sales and you, and it's the bridge that's holding you back. So let's recreate a sales story together. All of us have children or a spouse, probably on this call, or a job. You have a child, a boss, or a job. All of us know how, even though we choose not to do it, all of us know how to influence said child, said spouse, said boss to get what we want. You can influence for good to get what you want, or you can influence for bad, and we call that manipulation, and we don't do that. But the action is the same. The result is even the same, but the difference is, are we serving the person's needs or our own? So what do I mean by that? There is a sales strategy, and it's called FOMO, fear of missing out. A lot of people try to FOMO me in my ground floor opportunity. You want to get in on this right now. Oh my God, I can't believe what's happening. Oh my God, 47 people, right? I use the FOMO strategy. Don't get me wrong. It's a strategy. But I use FOMO to get their attention. Because if you're sold on FOMO only, you're not going to be delivered on FOMO. Because FOMO isn't sustainable. There's a season in your life where you're running. There's a season in life where you're walking. There's a season in your life where you're making excuses and not growing your business. There are seasons in your life. And if you're always trying to hype, people are going to get burnt out. People aren't going to follow you anymore because you didn't serve them. You just hyped everything up. That's not a result for them. So FOMO is a good strategy to get curiosity on Facebook. It is a shitty sales strategy because you have to deliver the result to the person. So if I'm here with Yvette, and Yvette wants to help orphans in Africa and teens navigate their teen years and underprivileged families for Christmas, that's a mission I can get behind. And if Yvette calls me and she's like, hey, Jen, I know it's been a while and we haven't caught up. Listen, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but I really have a desire to help underprivileged teens and families and help orphans in Africa. And I actually found a project that's allowing me to do that much quicker than I thought. I was wondering if you would take a look at something for 15 minutes and help me out. If someone said no to that, they don't have a heart. Yes, she does, Rockmark. But do you see how that mission is even bigger than Yvette? Like, yeah, I want to retire my spouse, right? Okay, cool. That's cool. You can use that for your warm market, right? You can use that for a mom that also wants to retire her spouse. But if you have a bigger mission, Lee wants to help animals, right? And I know this about my team because my job is to help Yvette win in her project to get the result. I don't need to keep selling Yvette stuff. My job, because I introduced Yvette to Secret, and actually it's not my job. It's not my job. I got to stop using that language. It's Secret's job. It's our job. It's her job to show up to practice, which she does. She hasn't missed a training. It's her job to say, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. And as she gets clearer in her message and clearer in what we're doing, which takes time, right? And then she has that passion for helping orphans in Africa. And then she's like, oh, that's a mission people are going to get behind who want to help orphans in Africa. I would love to participate in helping orphans in Africa. I don't know the first thing about starting a nonprofit, even though I have an education that taught me how to start a nonprofit. Yvette, we can talk about that. Shanessa has it too. So we can leverage each other. Hey, Yvette, how about you learn how to start the nonprofit? I'll go find some money because I'm very good at raising capital. And why don't we go to Africa and put some boots on the ground and see where the problems are? And now we're speaking from Africa saying, this is our mission. And we're here in this country and their current need is $2,000 for water. And we're doing the work from Africa. People are going to get behind her mission because she's doing it. She's not saying she's doing it. Does that make sense? Are you doing it or are you saying that you're doing it? So there's selling and then there's influencing. I want you guys, if you have, I don't want to be spammy and sleazy and salesy. Like, that's because you have a shitty experience with buying something from an asshole who is sleazy, spammy, and selly, and you don't want to come off that way. And no one on the call is that way. You guys all have gigantic hearts. I don't ever want to come off that way either. But I'm willing to learn how to not come off that way by coming off how I come off in the beginning so that my mentor can correct my communication. So if you've never, ever read this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I highly recommend you reading that book, because what Yvette's really doing is she's not selling people into Secret. She is influencing people into an idea that's so much bigger than her and even her family. Because I'll tell you what, if she takes this project and she's helping orphans in Africa, her bills are paid. Her husband's retired. Her grandkids are taken care of because they're probably all going to Africa. But the focus is on Africa, not the needs of I need to pay my bills. So there's selling, and then there's influencing, and then there's having a mission, which we talked about yesterday, that mission being so much bigger than you. And for some of us, the mission is buying a house. For some of us, the mission is buying a car. For some of us, the mission is taking our kids on their first trip to Hawaii. For some of us, the mission is Africa. It's no different. The mission is the mission. But when you stand in it, when you fight for it, people are going to call you names. They will. Get ready for it. Get ready to take the hits. Because if you're ready to take the hits and you're ready to fail 98% of the time, then you will win and succeed in this business. Selling is serving at the highest level. And I know personally, I never saw that until I came into this opportunity. I was sold a lot of manipulative bullshit in my previous experience. And it's taken me 1 year to trust my mentors, to trust my upline, to trust that my leaders have my back, because I have a story that I brought into this. And I want to encourage you to let go of the story. That story doesn't serve you, and it won't serve anybody in the future. And I don't care what you did in the past. Let's get back to being humble. Let's remember what it's like to make that very first phone call. It's scary as fuck. I remember. I was actually excited. So my first phone call, guys, was a $20,000 phone call. It was not $149. It was not a bar of soap. I did approach a friend. I targeted immediately. As soon as I bought what I bought, I knew exactly the person who needed to buy what I bought. And I spent 30 days with him, which I don't recommend you doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just excited that my friend was going to do this with me. And it took about, I don't know, I think he signed up in the 3rd week, right? So I had my first sale, but all I did was introduce him into my mentor, and I listened. And then when he was like, Jen, are you crazy? You really did this? I'm like, yeah, I really did this. Yeah, I really borrowed $10,000. Yeah, I really signed a promissory note to my house. I'm really doing this. You saw what just happened. You saw me lost 6 figures. I'm in this fucking thing, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it right. Are you do it with me? But I didn't talk about the company. I didn't talk about any of that stuff. I couldn't. But my conviction was, Charlie, I can't answer those questions. That's why I just brought you to Kevin. But what I want you to know is I'm fucking doing this. You bet your ass I signed a promissory note for 10 grand and found a business partner. You bet your ass I'm here. I'm here to do this because the alternative was get a job, and I wasn't willing to be away from my kids, and the job was never going to pay the debt I was in. That immediate need for me was debt. So your need has to be strong, and your conviction has to be strong when you're talking to people, but it's not convincing, it's conviction, right? So when we talk about our boss, our spouse, and our kids, we know how to influence them to make the decision that we want to get. And you don't do it through manipulation. You do it because it's also what's best for them, right? So that's what we do here. And again, if you haven't read the book, go read the book. It's a great book. Listen to it, right? Leaders are readers, like it or not. Leaders are readers. And you're reading from perspectives of other people who know how to win friends and influence people, and they went to make, it's not about the money. It's about, like, can you imagine the lives that Yvette would change when she's so convicted in her project and she's going to Africa? Those lives will be forever changed because she said, I'm gonna work on this problem. There's a problem in Africa, and I'd like to be the solution, right? If you see a problem, don't complain about it. How can you solve it? What we do here with network marketing and direct sales, no one wants to do. No one wants to sign up for the business. But if we can get business-minded people to understand that if they join Yvette and her mission of saving Africa, and it's a $2,000 entry, and they get 3 all-inclusive vacations, they never have to do anything again, and Yvette just has to go find some of those people who find some of those people who find some of those people, Yvette's going to Africa a lot sooner than she thinks, because we are in a people sorting business. We don't convince and we don't sell. We invite people in to see some information, and we collect a decision. That's the right way to sell. That's the right way to serve, right? That's that, and that will gain trust. Everyone wants to talk about, you got to gain trust with people, right? So you have to have a plan with purpose. You have to know when you're clocking in and clocking out. You have to know what you're doing with your plan. You have to know what your story is, what your why is, what your conviction is, because people won't follow anyone who doesn't know where they're going. So where are you going with this opportunity or your opportunity? If you have a job and you're on a hamster wheel and there's no way out, you don't know where you're going and no one's following you. And you know that because you're alone. So where are you going? Where do you want to go? Your first goal could be, man, I just want to go to Italy. Hey, I'm going to Italy. Quick question, friends. I'm going to Italy. I need a few friends to buy a bar of soap. You willing to do that for me? Like, it's super simple. It's super simple. We just got to connect the bridge to the conviction. And you won't be spammy, you won't be salesy, you won't be sleazy, because it's your conviction and you're inviting them to participate in your mission. What Yvette's doing is inviting people to participate in her mission for Africa. That's it. Hey, do you want to participate in what I'm doing or not? Yeah, there's an entry fee. Do you want to participate at going to the concert? There's an entry fee to go to the concert, and the person that's doing the concert gets paid. It's no different. You're sharing an opportunity. You're sharing with conviction from your heart of what you're doing. And people are either going to say yes or they're going to say no. And when you understand and set the expectation that you're going to get 8 no's right off the bat before you get 2 yeses, then you're off to the races. Then it really is go for no. If you haven't read that book, man, I read that. I own it. I've bought it for people. You're really going for the no. And then what's going to happen is someone's going to say, yeah, and you're going for no, and you got your 100 no checklist, and you're like, no, you're expecting a no, and they say, yeah, and you're like, yeah. What do I do? What do I do, Jen? What do I do? You pass the ball. You pass the ball to the player that can shoot it in the end zone. We work as a team. You pass the ball, and then you go get 20 more no's, and then you pass the ball, and then you go get 20 more no's, and then you pass the ball. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you know what to say when they say yes. And then when they say, I'm ready to get started, you're going to be like, oh shit, I don't know how to do this part. And then you pass the ball, right? You're leveraging and working together as a team. You're contributing to the team. You're influencing your team. Everything that you do, by the way, when you get started, everything you do, everyone in the team sees. So a lot of people live in this place. I'm not a leader. Jen, I'm not a leader. I hear this all the time. I'm not a leader. I don't want to lead people. I say it myself. But I'll tell you what, if you're in a home with humans, somebody's leading. And maybe it's not you, but somebody is leading. But if you have a plan with a purpose, I was just going to pick up a piece of paper for impact, then you can step out and be the leader under your roof. And then when you come into a team and you're shy and you don't know what to say and you don't know how to contribute, then good job. Good job, team. Good job, Carissa. Good job, Yvette. Good job, Mark. Good job, right? Everyone that's showing up, participating there. This is practice for some people. Then just celebrate the small wins, because right now that's what we all need. We need a small win. When my son does something that I want him to continue to do, I clap and I go, yay! Right? It's positive reinforcement, not negative reinforcement. So when he used to get up and take a step and fall, I'd be like, yay! And then he'd be like, I'm gonna take another step. And then he'd step up, yay! And then he'd step, and before you know it, he's walking. I never said, get up, dummy. Come on, punk. Can't you walk yet? Man, you should be walking by now. What are you doing? I would never talk to my son like that. I would never talk to anyone on my team like that, right? So when you're brand new, you're on the team. Now, everybody is going to say, congratulations, you joined the team, yay. But what skill can you give them? How can you participate in practice? Because you might have something in common with someone else, and they need to hear your voice. They need to feel the support. It's not the mentor's job. That's fucking exhausting. I'll tell you. It's a team effort. There's no coach when we all play and we all participate. I'm not the coach. Jesse's the coach. Muzaffar's the coach, right? Troy Brown's the coach. The twins are the coaches. I am not a coach. I just know how to do some things really, really good. But I'll tell you what, I know when to pass the ball. And I do pass the ball, and you guys don't see that. I'll pass the ball to Austin. I'll pass the ball to Jesse. I'll pass the ball to someone else on the team. Pass the ball to Jason Elliott. Pass the ball to Lauren. I don't know how to do this. I pass the ball, and I trust that person on my team has my best interest and the best interest of the person I'm passing them to. That's community. That's trust. And we live in a world where people are skeptical. They're out for themselves. They hate what just happened for the last few years, and they're bringing all that baggage into their shit, into their opportunity. And when you open your heart again, which takes some self-reflecting, then you will learn how to sell from your heart, how to influence from your heart, and the sky's the limit. Making money is simple when you understand that you're inviting them to take a look at something. That's all you're doing. It feels weird, like you're getting paid by them. You're not. Your company said, thank you so much, Yvette, for bringing me Joe. And the company paid Yvette for Joe. And Yvette is not responsible for Joe at all. At all. I am not responsible. You are not responsible. There's no one responsible because we have a system to plug into, right? And I'm not going to go into that because this is streamed all over the place, but your company has a system. Your job is to make sure that your new person knows the system, but you cannot drag your person to practice. They don't want to come. If they want it, they'll show up, and that's who you work with. Okay? All right, so thank you guys for being live. I don't want to continue to rant and rave, but I want you to go sell from your hearts. I want you to serve from your hearts. I want you to plan your business with purpose. And Jen, I'm clocking in at 3 p.m. What do? Go start a conversation with a stranger. Hey, quick question. I have a mission. I want to help some kids in Africa. I found a project that's going to allow me to do that. Can I have 15 minutes of your time? That's literally all you do. That's it. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Every single one of you is going to have a different story in a different way. But that is all you do, is you sift and you sort. And when you do that with consistency, I'm talking 10, 20, 30 people a day, the money up there, it's pretty great. And it's not the money that you want. We think it is. It's what I thought. It's what I thought. I just want $10,000. You know what I wanted? I wanted for the creditors to stop calling my phone. Because every time I got a 1-800 phone call and a 188 phone call, I was like, fuck, I am in so much debt. And every Sunday I would bawl my eyes out. Man, I should tell this story more often. I forget how to get into these feelings. It wasn't the money. I wanted the creditors to stop calling me because it was a constant reminder that I fucked up and I failed. But if I could get $10,000 a month and pay my creditors back, then I was back in action. And I used my Sunday poor me pity party to fuel 6 days a week. And I made it work. So you got to get into that pain. You have to get into that pain, and don't forget that pain. I'm very glad I was just reminded of that pain, because that pain sucked. It was humiliating. It was mortifying. And I had commission breath in the beginning because that $10,000 was going to save my family's lives. And it took me 6 months to have the right to tell my story the right way so that someone didn't go through what I did. They didn't have a Ponzi scheme. They didn't have their husband leave them. They didn't have to go through bankruptcy. They didn't have creditors calling him 20 times a fucking day trying to make a plan. That sucks. That hurts. Pain is a good thing. It's there to remind you where you came from. Take it and use it. Okay, I didn't want to end this on a sad note, but thank you, God, for bringing that up. Hope you guys have a phenomenal day. If anyone wants to work with me further, feel free to DM, shout it out. I don't have anything now for you guys today. Have a great day. Headed for Dallas tomorrow. Woo woo!